James Clear, the author of one of my favorite books called Atomic Habits, has an awesome quote. It goes something like this. The great threat to success isn't failure, it's boredom. The great threat to success isn't failure, it's boredom. Where are you being bored? Where is boredom standing in the way of you having the greatest success you can experience? Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. You know, one of the things I've been blessed with over the last four and a half decades is my work as a martial arts instructor. And during that time, I've literally had the opportunity to instruct tens of thousands of students. And what's so interesting is in those 10,000, I've got about 1,500 that have made it to Black Belt with me. And when I take a look at those students, and I think about them and I reflect on them, I can think of only two. The very first time I met them, I felt they had every attribute they needed to become a black belt. They had focus, concentration, strength, flexibility, tenacity. Only two. Now they eventually did get their black belts. But what I noticed is that there were a whole bunch of other people that came through my school that also had great talent but never did make it a black belt. And what generally happened with those students is the martial arts became easy to them. You know, the movements were just a little bit easy and they started getting bored quickly and they didn't have the focus and the attention to keep going. Whereas the other people who it didn't come naturally to, but then they started to see progress, they started to get excited about the progress they were making. So again, where is boredom holding you back and where are you not taking chances as a result of that? You know, one of my other favorite books is called Mastery by George Leonard. George Leonard is a Aikido black belt. So he equates, again, martial arts like I do into his work. And he says, one of the things that happens with the road to mastery is the reason that most people never reach it is because they view it as a direct line that's basically going northeast. I guess going northeast for you guys this way, right? And so anyway, what he says in the book is that most people think that their success is going to go directly from point A to point B. But he says that success and mastery is actually all about learning to deal with the plateaus. Because what he says is that most of our time on the road to mastery is basically at a plateau. We're just bumping along, doing our regular thing, and then we'll actually have a dip in performance. But then that dip in performance will bounce up and go a little bit higher than where we were before. Then we'll plateau again, and then we'll have a dip in performance, but now we'll bounce back up to higher than we were before. So eventually we'll go on that northeast trajectory. It's not a direct line. And you have to get used to loving the plateaus, being in that place of knowing this is just part of the process. So what I want to share with you today are three ideas, three key strategies that I use in my own life and I also use in the clients that I coach and the students that I teach about what can help you be able to overcome boredom and actually use it to your advantage. So what's the first one? The first one is to fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the process. It's always great to have a goal that we're striving for, you know, and you visualize yourself in the winner's circle or on the medal stand or whatever that is, and that's great to have it, but what we have to be able to do is fall in love with the process, whatever it is. We're not just doing it for the end result, we actually love the activity. You know, I've been doing martial arts since 1973. This afternoon, I'm going to be doing a workout. I love my workouts when I do them. I love the process of, even though I've been doing it for 48 plus years, I love the process of feeling it in my body and feeling myself sweat and feeling myself go through those motions and maybe even still improving, even though I've been doing it my whole life. So where can you find joy and love in the process? Number two is to know your why. Know your why. I think that so many times we focus, like author Simon Sinek says, we focus on what we do, we focus on how we do it, but we don't get really clear about why we're doing it. And when you have something that you are pouring yourself into and you aren't able to understand your why, as soon as obstacles present themselves, you're probably going to get off track. So for instance, if you want to release weight and you don't have a strong why other than, hey, maybe I want to release weight or lose weight because I think it's what people think I should do. the first time you get a temptation, the first time you have difficulty, you're probably going to stray. But if you say, man, I want to release weight because I want to be healthy enough so I can last long enough to see my grandchildren, now that's a big why. And so now when the obstacles come and when the distractions come, you're focused on where you want to be and you become engaged in the process. And then number 3 is have a plan for when the boredom does hit. See, again, many of us think we're really good about starting at point A and going to point B and seeing where we want to be. But what we don't do is we don't focus on the obstacles, or we don't focus on the plan that we're going to deal when the obstacles do occur. Now, I love one of the concepts that I share with my coaching clients is something I call pre-commitment. So basically what that means is, as an example, let's say you want to get out 3 days a week and you want to take a walk in the morning before you head off to work. So rather than wake up that morning and in that nice warm blanket and in that cozy bed go, do I want to walk or should I do that after work tonight? No, what you do is you literally have your walking clothes right at the edge of your bed. Your shoes are right there as well. You've already pre-committed to the activity. And as soon as you wake up, there are my clothes, and my first step is I'm going to put on my clothes. Then, well, my shoes are on, I might as well go walk, right? Now, one of my other favorite authors is someone named Mel Robbins. She has a book called The 5-Second Rule. And her backstory is she was a coach, very successful, but then life started to fall apart. She started to fall into depression. She started to drink more than she probably should have been. And she started experiencing that she couldn't get out of bed in the morning. She was in the state of depression. She couldn't get up. And so one night she was watching television, probably on her 3rd glass of wine, and she was watching a rocket launch. And they were going through, as they normally do, 10, 9, 8, and then they got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff. And she thought, you know what? Tomorrow morning when my alarm goes off, I'm going to say to myself, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and get up out of bed. And it worked. And then she did it the next day, and then she did the next day after that, and pretty soon it became routine. But it worked because she had a plan for when the obstacle presented itself. So what is a plan you can come up with when the boredom hits? So hopefully you found some value in this, my friends. The things that preclude us from being in our power, being in our flow, oftentimes is not the obstacles, it's the boredom with the process. So make sure that you fall in love with that process. Make sure you're clear about your why, and then also have a plan for when that boredom hits. So again, if you like this, make sure you like it, you share, you comment. And also, if you have any other ideas that you'd like to hear me share, I'd love to have those shared as well. So this has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching, and we'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.